You have reached Red Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'm your man, Brad Steele, and today I'll be reviewing from G.I. Joe Classified Series, Crimson Guard. G.I. Joe Classified Series, Crimson Guard. But before I get into the actual review, I just want to go over some of the nostalgic details on this packaging. Up front here, the total blister showing you what the figure and all the accessories inside. In the top corner, you have a warning label that says, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3. In the other corner here, you have a 4+, which is an age requirement for this figure. And across the top here, you have the G.I. Joe logo. Below that, you have Crimson Guard. Then above the blister tray, you have Cobra Enemy. Then over here, this vintage illustration of a Crimson Guard. In the corner here, the old school Hasbro emblem. Now, back of the packaging here. On the very top again, you have the G.I. Joe logo. In the middle here, this file card that reads, Crimson Guard. Role, Cobra Elite Trooper. Primary specialty, undercover espionage. Secondary specialty, demolition. Birthplace, various countries. Then over here says, the Crimson Guard are the elite shock troops of the Cobra Legions. Too precious to be wasted on the battlefield, they are dispersed worldwide in deep cover, assuming normal appearances and lifestyles. Then over here, you have a profile shot of the Crimson Guard. Below that, you have Cobra. Then across the middle here, you have a cross of all the other available figures. G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback Crimson Guard. The Crimson Guard was released July 2023 with the suggested retail price of $24.97, and it was available exclusively at Walmart. The Crimson Guard was released along with the other G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback figures, Storm Shadow, Zartan, and Snake Eyes. The Crimson Guard has multiple points of articulation for dynamic posability. His accessories include removable backpack, sword, sheath, knife, 2 weapon accessories, and figure stand. The Crimson Guard stands 6 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 4 and up. Now that I have the Crimson Guard on my display table, so I'm going to go over some of his plate features and accessories. First, I talk about his figure stand. These figure stands are exclusive to the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback figures. And they're a nice addition because a lot of times when you have these figures fully accessorized, they have a very difficult time standing on their own. So this is a very welcome addition to this set. But this stand has some nice detail to it because you have this mold detail in the middle here, which has the Cobra insignia. You have these 2 pegs to hold the figure up. In the front here, this little groove, which is supposed to be for a nameplate, but they omitted that. And I'm sure it's because they want to go ahead and make this maybe a standard accessory we can use this for any G.I. Joe Classified Series figure, because I have a lot of mainline figures that can utilize these stands too, because like I mentioned earlier on, a lot of these figures do have a hard time standing on their own without help, and these stands help it out very nicely. Or to put the Crimson Guard on the stand, on the bottom of his feet here near the heel, you have a porthole right here and right here. On the figure stand, you have those 2 pegs. I want to go put them right in those portholes just like that, and just like that. And now you have your Crimson Guard on his figure stand, which is nice to not go and rotate him around without fear of him falling over. The next accessory I want to bring in is this combat knife, or this knife. And this knife is nicely done. It's a little of kind of a harder plastic. There's not much give to it. It's very pointy, so do not let this fall into the wrong hands, because if it falls in the hands of a kid, it can cause a little bit of damage. You got a serrated side right there. You got a little hook for the little handle right there. You got a lot of nice handle detail. I don't know if you guys can see that. And the blade's even painted out of metallic silver paint, where it has that metallic luster to it, so you shine it to certain angles of the light. You got a little sheen right there. Very, very nicely done. Order to arm the Crimson Guard with his knife. And what I tend to do is I like to pry the fingers open because they do conform to the original shape over time, as you see. When I have it pried open, I just slip the knife right into his hand just like that. And now you have your Crimson Guard armed with his knife. Very, very cool. But the cool thing about these G.I. Joe Classified Series figures, this is kind of one of the trademarks, is they have means of storing their weapons on their person. So you got a holster right there, and you got a holster right there. This holster right here is specifically for this knife. You just take that knife, You slide it right down that holster, just like that. And now you have this knife stored away in its little sheath. Very, very cool. The next accessory I want to bring in is this pistol. And this pistol has a lot of detail. You got handle detail, trigger detail, you got barrel detail. You may have that little part right there where the bullet or the casing shoot out in the side. You even got a little porthole in the barrel. Very, very nicely done. Order to arm the Crimson Guard with this knife. You want to do, or no, this gun or this pistol. Want to pry the hand open. Another trademark on these classified series figures is you actually have a trigger finger. So you actually put that trigger finger right in that little porthole where the trigger's supposed to be. And now you have your Crimson Guard armed with this pistol. Very cool. And I love the detail they put into these figures. But there's also a way to store this pistol on your Crimson Guard because there's a holster on this hip right here. Once that pistol slide right in that holster, just like that. It should fit right into place, and this figure's right out of package. So it's very, very stiff. And there you go. You have the pistol right in its holster where it's supposed to be. Very, very nicely done. This is such a nice figure. G.I. Joe Classified Series figures are fantastic, and I love these retro Cardback figures. It's kind of like a great nod to the original 3 3/4 80s figures from back in the day. I really missed out on a lot of those figures, and just me being able to collect them in this scale is just fantastic. The next accessory I want to bring in is this backpack. And this backpack is fantastic. A lot of great mold detail. You see this buckle detail right here. You have that Cobra insignia in the middle, which is painted out like a metallic silver paint. You have the flap that goes over the back, but doesn't open up. It's pretty solid. You even have detail in the back where it's not needed, but it's nice little touch. You have that peg in the middle of this backpack. You turn the Crimson Guard over, and you have this porthole in the middle of his back. You just plug this backpack right into his back just like that. And there's some pegs and portholes here. I'm sure that's to store certain accessories. I'm guessing that the next accessory we'll bring in is this sheath. That is because he also comes with a sword. And this sword is beautifully done. If you look at the handle here, it's just nicely molded. You have this little handle right here. Even the blade detail. I mean, it's molded out of like a softer plastic where it's not rubbery, but it's a little bit harder. It's a little pointy. So, like I said, if it gets in the wrong hands, it could cause a little bit of damage. But it's so long and lengthy that it kind of bends away from the point of contact. Nicely done. You got some mold detail on the blade right here and right here. I mean, you got a little point right there. It's a little sharp. It's a little flat. So, I mean, just beware that this doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Or to arm your Crimson Guard with the sword, you do the same thing. You pry the hand open. You slide the thumb. Slide the sword in between the thumb and the hand. And now you have your Crimson Guard armed with the sword. Very, very cool. Well, like I said earlier on, the unique trademark on the G.I. Joe Classified Series figures is you can store your weaponry on your figures. You can either peg this sheath right into the backpack right here or on the belt, which I know traditionally it goes on the belt. So I'm going to go and just put it on his belt right now. I'm going to take the sword now, take it out of his hand, and I'm going to slide it right down that sheath. And it fits perfectly just like that. Now you have the sword stored away. Very, very cool. The next accessory I want to bring in, it's the last accessory, is this rifle. This rifle has such great detail. You even got that cartridge right there that kind of rearms the rifle there. You got a bayonet, sorry. You got the handle, you got a lot of great detail there. Order to arm your Crimson Guard with this blaster or this rifle. Slide it right into his hand, put the trigger into the slot, and now you have the Crimson Guard armed with this rifle. Very, very cool. And I have to say, this Crimson Guard is fantastic. Such great detail, and like I said, I can't rave enough about these retro Cardback series figures. It's nicely done. There's so much great detail. But I'm going to go and rotate them around so you see what it looks like from all angles. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, and while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Red Seal's Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.